Did you ever wonder what would happen if the Titans fought solo in the Skibidi Multiverse? How would they be able to face off against the most massive threats individually in the series? How would the Drill Titan fare if he were the only Titan in the series? Or the TV Titan? Well, let's find out. We'll start with the Drill Titan. The Drill Titan came a little bit later in the series, but if only the Drill Titan existed from episode 1, since the two first Titans do not exist in this scenario, the Skibidis would surround the base. Instead of the clocks calling on their Titan, since they don't have a Titan, they'd call on the Drill instead. I guess the alliance would form even earlier, and the Drills would start helping out even with their agents. So, with the base Drill on their side, they should be fine, right? Yeah. So, the base gets cleared, and they move on to more bases, clearing out toilets and mutants. Since they were not able to infect the Drill Titan, based on the fact he's too aggressive, the alliance would not have any need for a rescue mission. All that time and energy would be invested into clearing bases. However, in the original timeline, there was a particular base that they invaded, and the scientist was able to ambush them using the Clock Titan's time gun to hold him in place, which prompted the Drill Titan to self-destruct. Well, in this case, since the Clock Titan doesn't exist, he won't have the ability of the Clock Titan to stop opponents. Instead, since he knows that the Drills are sensitive to sound waves, he may try to stun him, which we all know would only make things worse. I think the Drill Titan would get even more angry and aggressively destroy the mutants, going after the scientist, which would prompt him to retreat out of the battlefield. The Drill would move on to even more bases, clearing them significantly. However, the Alliance would attack a certain base, this time with full force. But little did they know, the scientist had a plan. He would be able to team up with the Pennywise toilet, and together they'd attack the Drill Titan. Since he's at his base form, things wouldn't be all sunshine and rainbows, as we saw the amount of energy and effort required to put these mutants down. But I guess with his aggressiveness, he'll be able to squash Pennywise, and the scientist would retreat, leaving him with a huge surprise. Well, I guess that's it for the Drill. With the amount of explosives from these mutants, he surely won't survive. So, Chief Drill would have to eject out of his body, leaving his shell to die out in the explosion. This would be a huge blow for the Alliance, as they have lost their only Titan. Meanwhile, at the clock base, things are not going well for the Alliance. The SCP toilets are at the base, and the agents would be working hard to stall because the Alliance has a plan. You see, since it's only one Titan, they'll see the need to give him upgrades to be able to match up to the ever-increasing threats. So, they would have been working on his new body, since they aren't busy with anything else. While the clock base is being threatened by the SCP, the Chief Drill would fly over to the Drill base. That's where the Drill Titan's spirit would be placed inside his new body. But this Drill Titan won't be like the one in the original. He'll be upgraded by the joint efforts of the other race's scientists, which would give him perks like time blasters, TV screens for hypnosis, and others. Just imagine how lit this Titan would look. So, just as the agents are almost outnumbered and the SCPs think they have the win, out from the underworld would come the massive Drill himself. With the upgrades, it won't take long before the SCP toilets would bite the dust. However, after this epic win, the agents would have to go disable the nukes that the Skibidis are plotting, which would be just right, with minimal casualties. Meanwhile, Alpha would have met up with the Skibidis and would have something going on, but she'll know she's in for a treat when she sees the Drill Titan in battle. So, the plan would be to lure him out and take hostages, making the Drill Titan bend to her will. They'd send a message that the clock base is being attacked, which would prompt the OP Drill to rush to the base. When he gets there, he'll see that there's nothing really going on. Something is really fishy. So, he'll realize and begin to hurriedly go back to the Drill base. Meanwhile, at the base, the Skibidis have destroyed many of the Drills and taken some hostages. When he gets to the base, he's met with a gory scene of what used to be his race members. This would make him infuriated, but the Skibidis would send a message that if he wants to save the hostages, he should destroy all the Alliance's bases, basically working for them. At first he resisted, but Chief Drill told him to play along. Before all this, Alpha would have infiltrated the clock base to pay a visit to the clock boss. But since the future clockman didn't order anything on the alarm clock, the boss would be able to fight against Alpha, and she'd have to retreat, since she knows the base is done for anyway. So the Drill Titan goes after the clock base. This would be the perfect time. While all this is happening, the agents, led by the future clockman, would attack the base where the agents are kept. With a lot of effort, they would be able to free the agents with fewer casualties. The Drill Titan, however, would receive the message and it's go time. Since he's already with them, he'll go after the scientist, which would surprise Alpha as she calls on the Drill Titan, reminding him of their ordeal. But the Drill Titan pays no heed to her, and the scientist gets bullied and has to retreat. Alpha tries to contact her goons at the stronghold, but they are not responding. She'll instantly know that something is off, so she'll go on to summon the Counter Titan. Well, this battle would be somewhat one-sided, as we all saw a glimpse of what this battle would look like, and they were somewhat on equal footing. So, imagine this Drill Titan with extra perks and more durability. Yeah, the Counter Titan better watch out. So, the battle rages on, with each side holding their own. The Counter Titan would copy all the weapons of the Drill and use them against him. He has no other choice but to up his game and turn on his true form transformation. In this form, the Drill's power would be amped up multiple times over, and I guess with his signature JoJo punches, he'll be able to put the Counter Titan down, pounding him to dust. But now that he's in this mode, the Chief Drill would have to calm him down from all the rage he's going through. Just as he's calm, the Chief would receive a message that they have found out about the G-Man apocalypse. So, the Drill Titan would move onto the base to try to stop it. He'll be greeted by mutants, which he'll just pound down to dust, still with his rage. But when the bigger threats start coming, things would not be so fast, and this would be what the Skibidis had planned. As the G-Man apocalypse would be unleashed, we all know that once this happens, it would be instant GG for the Alliance. As we saw, even coupled with the other Titans, they were not able to survive G-Man's nukes. So, with the behavior of the Drill Titan, he'll go headfirst to attack G-Man, which would be the unfortunate end with just one blast. I guess you'll still need your daddy in some very dire situations. The Drill Titan came a long way, but he was not able to single-handedly clear the threats in the Skibidi Multiverse. However, let's see how the Camera Titan would perform. The story. So, basically, he got infected in the first episode, which clearly would still occur, as even when the Speaker Titan was present, he still got infected. So yeah, now that the only Titan in the series has been infected, the Alliance's goal would be to uninfect him. Since the rest of the Titans are not available to tame him, it would be even harder, but the agents would have to try their best to uninfect him. The Clock Woman and Assassin Drill Man would use their special abilities, like her time gun, to immobilize him while they locate the parasite and crush it to pieces. With that, the Camera Titan would be free. Now that the Alliance has their Titan back, they'll move on to the next episodes with the Camera Titan. Without the other Titans to help in battles, like the Speaker and Drill Titan, things would be a lot harder, and he'll take even more significant damage. In episode 14, when a parasite was about to infect him while he was in battle with a toilet, well, let's just say he was able to stop it, because if this happens, we all know it's GG for the Alliance. The Skibidis' second attempt to infect him didn't work out, and the Alliance would have to retreat, just like in the original. Now that they've retreated from the trap the Skibidis set, they'll realize that the only Titan they have is getting damaged and would need upgrades. They would go on to upgrade the Camera Titan, but it won't take much time, as they'll need him in the battle against the Skibidis. Just like in the original, minor upgrades like machine guns, insane core blasts, and durable shields would do the trick. While the other Alliance members are in the battle, furiously fighting against the toilets, and the Clown Mutant is about to eat the agents, we'll get to see the upgraded Camera Titan. With his machine guns, the Clown Toilet would be smoked. He'll then move on to other parts of the base, helping other Alliance members. But the scientist has already teamed up with the Pennywise Toilet, and together they'll attack the Camera Titan. However, due to his fighting skills and the way he was able to hold his own against the Pennywise Toilet in the original, he should be fine. He'll just have to put in a little more effort. With this, he'll be able to smoke Pennywise with his immense core blast, and the scientist would have to retreat. If not, he'll be next. But he doesn't go down easily. The Camera Titan still has to deal with the kamikaze rain. With his shield, he'll easily be fine. So, when it rains and all the explosions happen, the Camera Titan would come out unfazed. Meanwhile, at the clock base, the SCP toilets have taken over the base, and the agents are fighting hard to protect it. They'll need a Titan, so he'll get the message and move in swiftly. The agents would be able to hold them until he arrives. Based on the fact that the Camera Titan possesses shield technology, unlike the Speaker Titan in the original who was bullied because of this flaw, I think the Camera Titan would be able to perform better and would not not even need the help of the Drill Titan to disintegrate them. With his core blast, which we saw was very intense, and his immense strength, he'll be able to save the clock base from being blown up to smithereens. It's a huge win after reclaiming the base, but something is wrong. They'll receive a message about the nukes, and they have to stop them. The Alliance would move to the Skibidi base, and since the Camera Titan is there, unlike the injured speaker, this would turn out to be easier with fewer casualties. So, with this, the shapeshifter would come in and save the Alliance, despite the fact that they are running out of time due to the intense battles. Meanwhile, Alpha would have formed an alliance with the Skibidis to make her mission even easier, but since there's no Drill Titan, she won't think of that plan. Instead, she'll partner with the Skibidis' plan to infect the Camera Titan and use him against the Alliance. But Alpha realizes that the clocks are still the strongest of all the races, so she'll need to take over the base too. They'll form an ambush and attack the Drill base. They'll call for help as they can't hold off the toilets at the base, and the Camera Titan would come in. The Alliance would try their best to hold their own against the Skibidis, but little did they know, they have a plan to infect the Camera Titan. But it's not going to be that easy. They'll use a giant hypnosis screen to hypnotize him to buy time for the parasite to fly onto him. Successfully, they'll be able to infect the Camera Titan. Oh boy, would this be the end for the Alliance? Have all their efforts gone down the drain? The Camera Titan, now infected, would fly over to the clock base where he'll meet up with Alpha. With this, all the Alliance members would have to retreat to a secret base where they'll regroup and strategize on how to get their Titan back. Alpha would have taken over the clock base since they don't have a Titan anymore. But what they didn't realize is that the future clockman has seen all this coming. Plus, some info about the plan leaking due to multiple interrogations of toilets the hard way. The Camera Titan is actually not infected, as we all know that the hypnosis ray doesn't work too much on him. He always finds a way out. He had to follow the script, and he also had an agent, the Assassin Drill Man, inside him. No, not like that. That's not what I meant. Anyways, let's continue. So, the Assassin Drill Man is able to kill the original parasite and replace it with a decoy, fooling the Skibidis. Although, in order to make it look real, they had to make the ultimate sacrifice, the clock base and the boss. But it was worth it, as the scientists would be working on a massive upgrade that would make the Camera Titan the most powerful Titan ever. While Alpha and the Skibidis think they have the Camera Titan in check, he'll receive the message to come back to the hidden location where he'll get these upgrades. They'll be able to replace his machine guns with giant time blasters, his gravity arm with a drill, some speakers for stunning, and extra protection from hypnosis with improved lenses. Yeah, just imagine how strong this Camera Titan would be. Basically, all the scientists had to contribute their knowledge and technology to upgrade this Titan to the max. With this, Alpha would become infuriated and feel violated for being outsmarted. So, with the Camera Titan on the Alliance's side, they'll move on to the base and meet up with the Skibidi scientist. I guess he'll be bullied and have to retreat, as this Camera Titan is no joke with his blasters. But as the Alliance members try to take back the base, she'll summon the Counter Titan. Here's where things start getting heated up. The Counter Titan would go on a full attack on the Camera Titan, copying his weapons and using them against him. But this Camera Titan has been reinforced with body armor, so it would have an effect like when he was stabbed in the chest. Instead, the Counter Titan would be the one getting bullied, as his energy reserves have been amped up exponentially with all the upgrades coupled with the weapons and core blast. With one final blast, the Camera Titan would be able to use his massive core blast to burn the Counter Titan, while using his weapons to tear him to pieces. Alpha sees this and tries to escape, but is stopped by the Camera Titan with a blast that knocks her lights out. This means the Alliance has taken back the base and has one of the strongest Titans ever. Now that the Skibidis' plan about the G-Man apocalypse is out, the Alliance knows they have to act fast. If G-Man is able to unleash, that would be the end. So, they all kit up with their upgrades and weapons and move on the mission to stop the G-Man apocalypse. The Camera Titan would have to fight against multiple mutants, toilets, and despite all the battles, I don't think he'll be able to get there before the G-Man apocalypse is unleashed. So yeah, the upgrades were just able to sustain him enough not to be destroyed by the mutants, but were not able to stop the G-Man. So, would the Sinister still exist if the other Titans didn't exist? Well, I guess no. I don't think he'd exist. So, does this mean the future Clockman would be an orphan with no father? Oh, so sad. But since he won't be in the battle with the Sinister, I guess he'll be there to help in the battle against G-Man. Just maybe they'll be able to stop stop him, but I don't think his time stop would be able to work on the massive fortress, so he'll only help heal the camera titan's injuries and other things. Even though they were able to locate G-Man inside the shell and the camera titan gets in, he would still get back shots as that's just inevitable. But let's just say he was able to defeat G-Man due to his combo of abilities. But when the aliens come in, I guess that would be the end, right? However, let's see how the speaker would perform. Right into it. The speaker and camera titan were the first we saw, and they were in battle against the mutants. That's where the camera titan got infected. But since in this scenario, the camera and other titans don't exist, the speaker titan would have to face off against the mutants on his own. And you know what this means? He'll definitely get infected by the Skibidis. As he's the only titan in the series, pretty much the agents would have to be doing all of the work of clearing out mutants and toilets, which would make it even harder. However, now that the Skibidis have the speaker infected, there would be even more casualties on the Alliance side, which eventually would lead them to go on a rescue mission to recover the infected speaker. Agents like the Clockwoman and Assassin Drillman would come in with their unique abilities. The Clockwoman would use the time gun to immobilize him, and with the collective efforts of the other agents, they would be able to uninfect him, destroying the parasite and securing a huge win for the Alliance. But I guess since the Clock Titan doesn't exist here, there'd be no need for the Magnet Mutant, as his sole purpose was for the Clock Titan, which we all saw was not that efficient. But now that the Alliance has taken back their Titan, they'll be able to move even more quickly, destroying multiple Skibidi bases. As even in the early parts of the episodes, we saw that the Speaker Titan was pretty efficient with his fighting skills and mobility. So with this, I guess the earlier episodes would not be that big of a problem anymore with him around. Even in the episode where the Alliance invaded a certain base and the Titans were injured and had to retreat, if it's only the Speaker Titan that went on this mission, I guess with his current level of power and skills, based on the fact that the battle was exhausting enough to damage 2 Titans, I guess the Speaker wouldn't come out looking too good. So the Alliance would see the need for upgrades. During the battle, the Speaker Titan would be forced to retreat mid-fight as he can't continue with the battles. So, on getting to the base, he'll get upgraded significantly. As we saw, these upgrades were significantly quicker and basic, so we'll get to see these new upgrades when the Balls mutant was attacking the agents. Since it would be the agents fighting while he's getting upgraded, there'd be more casualties than usual. When the Balls mutant is about to finish the agents off, the Speaker Titan would come in, and this time, with new and improved weapons, knives and chains, he'll effectively be able to use his sound waves to stun the hell out of the mutant, putting it down. With that, the Alliance would be more confident and push to attack more Skibidi bases. That's when they'll get to invade the base where the Clown Toilet was about to smoke the poor agents. But instead of the Camera Titan coming to the rescue, we would get to see the Speaker instead, and he'll use his sound waves to stun the Clown Mutant, ultimately putting him to dust. However, the scientist would have been planning something that supposedly would be able to take down the only Titan the Alliance has. So, he goes on to form an alliance with the Pennywise Toilet, and together they would ambush the Speaker Titan. Yeah, I guess with his upgrades and new weapons, it would be an even better duo fight. Notice that since the Alliance has only one Titan, they would not have to invest their time and resources in multiple Titans. So, this Speaker would be even stronger than in the original. He'll be able to take care of Pennywise, but while going after the scientist, he gets brutally injured and teleports out of the battlefield, leaving the Speaker with a gift, the Kamikaze Rain. Well, I guess that's the end for the Speaker, right? But not quite. You see, the Alliance knows that this is the only Titan, so they would have upgraded all the parts of the Titan, such as defense and offense. On the defensive aspect, don't expect the cameras not to give them a bit of their shield technology. So yeah, this Speaker would be able to use the shield based on the fact that the camera scientist would have done justice to that. With this, the Speaker Titan would be able to survive despite all odds. However, after surviving the Kamikaze, the clock base would have been taken over by the SCP toilets, and someone needs to do the dirty work here. So, the Alliance would call on their Titan to come and save the day while the agents hold them off at the base. So, he moves out to the base. On getting there, he gets ambushed by the SCP toilets, which doesn't turn out well, as this Speaker Titan is even stronger than the original due to his upgrades. Since he has the shield technology he lacked in the battle in the original, I guess things would not go smoothly for the SCP toilets this time. When they fire their shells at him, he'll be able to nullify them with his shield, and using his weapons like axes and knives, he'll be able to put them to the dirt, saving the clock tower from blowing up and securing the base for the Alliance. But they would get the message about the nukes, and the agents would rush into the base quickly to disable them. Since they would go on with the speaker, and this time he's not injured like in the original, he'll be able to hold the Skibidis off, so the agents would disable the nukes before they detonate. It won't be a close call like in the original story. However, Alpha would have formed an alliance with the Skibidis, and this time the plan is to go on a full-on attack on the base and conquer, starting from the race with the most potential, the clock race. But they need a diversion, so invading the drill base would do just fine. They get the message that the drill base has been attacked and they need the speaker, so he moves out to the battlefield. Meanwhile, the Skibidis infiltrate the clock base. The clocks would have gotten the message beforehand about the ambush and retreated to a particular base where they would lay low. So, after the speaker returns from the battlefield at the drill base, they would start the upgrades on him, as they would know they need more to face the mysterious woman. Meanwhile, Alpha would be happy, sitting like a queen at the clock base. Periodically, the agents would go on missions trying to reclaim the base, but all would be futile, as the final hope for the multiverse is yet to come. But the scientists would have to work faster, so it won't take long. They'll be able to add new technology, like a touch of every race's technology, so this speaker would have a variety of weapons and tricks up his sleeve. With the new upgraded Titan, the Alliance would move on with the full fleet in a revenge mission to reclaim their base, and the toilets and mutants won't stand a chance, as even the agents would be upgraded significantly. But Alpha realizes they've brought their Titan and goes on to summon her own, the Counter Titan. And this time, it would be the battle against the Counter and the upgraded Rockstar Titan. Crazy, right? The Counter goes on the offensive, pouncing on the Speaker Titan. He uses his sound waves to push him off. The Counter notices this and copies the weapon. I mean, just imagine the Counter using the guitar. That would have been funny as hell, but I don't think he'll see it like a guitar. Instead, he'll use it like an axe on the Speaker Titan. But the Speaker realizes that any weapon he uses would be replicated, so he only has one shot at all the tricks he has. With his black hole ability, he immobilizes the Counter Titan and uses his core blast to roast the Counter Titan to ashes. Although he would have exhausted all of his energy and would need to go for repairs, Alpha is able to retreat, and so is the scientist, as it's not worth it anymore. They have bigger plans. So the Speaker Titan is taken back to the base for repairs. Alpha reports to her master about the situation on Earth, but the Skibidis know that the battle has taken a turn. As Alpha and the aliens are not coming to make friends with them, they are coming to take over the Earth. So instead of fighting against each other, they have to work together and form a truce to stand a chance against the aliens. The G-Man apocalypse wouldn't be used to attack the Alliance. Instead, they would channel the energy to fight against the aliens when they come. Although we've just seen some of the aliens, we don't really know their abilities and powers yet, as the only aliens we're seeing are just drones. So, I guess we'll have to wait and see. Can the Alliance and the Skibidis stand a chance against the aliens? And since there's no Clock Titan, I think they'll attack even sooner. So, I guess it's GG for both the Skibidis and the Alliance. Okay, let's see how our Daddy Clock would be able to fare. We all know how overpowered the Clock Titan is in the series, but he obviously still needed some help from the other Titans. So let's remove all the efforts and battles of the other Titans and see if he would be able to clear the mutants and threats in the entire series. Right from the beginning, the other Titans were the ones holding off the threats, like the Skibidi scientist and some mutants. Since they are not there, it means the Skibidis wouldn't have an infected Titan in their arsenal. Instead, they'll attack the clock base, just like we saw in the original, but this time with more aggressiveness, based on the fact that the agents are the ones fighting the battles. So fewer casualties on their side, unlike in the original, where there were two Titans. When the clocks see that the base is about to be overthrown, they'll have to call on the Clock Titan, and that's when we'll get to see the base form of the Clock Titan. Just like in the original, he'll be able to clear out the base of the mutants and toilets. They'll make the magnet mutant the next time they'll attack, and we all know how this magnet was not able to have any significant effects on him. Rather, the fault was on his own side with low energy reserves. Even when the scientist joins in and tries to immobilize him, just like we saw, he'll be able to break free. Since the infected camera Titan would not be in this case, it means the Clock Titan would not be captured by the Skibidis, and he'll be able to smoke the magnet mutant. The scientist scrambles away like a scaredy chicken, so there's no need for any rescue mission. Since the other agents and other races exist, the agents would be going from base to base, basically clearing out toilets and mutants. The base Clock Titan would be with them even longer. This would would make things even easier, as even in the episode where there was a heated battle and the Skibidis planned a trap where the Titans had to retreat, I think the scientist would know what he's up against. Maybe this time they'll experiment with better and stronger magnets, like making them bigger. Let's say mounting magnets on bigger mutants to get better effects. Even if they are ambushed in this episode, the Alliance should be fine, as it was just basic toilets, and the scientist would not be dumb enough to confront him again after the last encounter where he narrowly escaped. Instead, he'll be working on his plan for the Clock Titan, since he's the only Titan the Skibidis would be all focused on, trying to defeat him. After clearing up the base, they'll move on to more and more, and definitely this would have a huge toll on the base clock, but he'll be fine. However, in the episode where the Alliance invaded a particular Skibidi base, where the agents were about to be eaten by the clown toilet, we would not get to see the epic machine guns light show. Instead, it'll be the base clock. Notice that the agents would get upgraded earlier, based on the fact that there are fewer Titans to worry about. Their attention would go to the agents, so they can match up to the ever-increasing threats. But the scientist has a plan, which would change everything in the series. Finally, he would have perfected his technology, so he'll form an alliance with Pennywise. Of course, he'll have a big surprise for the Alliance. When they attack the Clock Titan, things would not go too well for them. He'll be able to smoke the clown and fatally injure the scientist, but not yet. As he's about to finish him off, a very massive mutant would come in with giant magnets. This would be able to dampen his abilities. Although he'll still be able to physically fight, there would be no need to engage, as the scientist would have smiled. His plan has worked, and he teleports out of the battlefield. Then, the kamikaze rain would come in, and oh boy, would this be the end for the Clock Titan? As they rain down from the air, causing massive damage to the Clock Titan. But it doesn't totally take him out. He's able to retreat from the battlefield, which pisses off the scientist. But as he gets back to base, he realizes that the toilets have already taken over the base. Can the day get even weirder? He has no other choice but to join in with the other agents to hold off against the SCP toilets. Despite all the efforts, he'll just be able to disable the bomb, saving the base from blowing up. As for the SCP toilets, the damages he'll take from them would be very massive, but he'll still manage to defeat them with the help of the time stop from the large Clockman, as the effects of the dampener would still be in place. With this, the base would be saved, but at the cost of the only Titan they have. The Alliance would have to move him to another location where he'll receive upgrades. But it isn't over yet. This day must be a very hectic day at work for the agents, as they'll receive a message about the nukes. Oh boy, they still have to go on the mission without catching their breath. I guess that's what you get with fewer Titans on your side. They'll move on to the base and fight ferociously. The shapeshifter would come in and save the day at the base. Yeah, that guy sure has saved many lives in the series, even mutants that the Alliance fought so hard to put down. I'm still waiting for Drill Titan's reaction when he sees the 01 mutant. He'll freak out for real. Now that that's done, I guess they'll have some time to catch their breath, but not for too long. That's when the Menace Alpha would have formed an alliance with the Skibidis. And together, since the Alliance doesn't have a Titan, it'll be easier for them. They'll have to keep the location of the secret base as hidden as possible if they really want to survive. Unlike in the original, where the scientist was able to find out about the base, Alpha, seeing that the Alliance is in the open, would see a great opportunity and take it. She forms a fleet of toilets and mutants to attack the base with full force. This would force all the Alliance members out of the base, and this would save the Clock Boss's life, as they don't have anything to prove to the Skibidis other than to wait for the Clock Titan's upgrades. But that doesn't mean they won't try to get the base back. All efforts, however, would be futile. The wait would finally be over, and the Clock Titan's new form would be unveiled. They would all be satisfied with what they see. This new Clock Titan would even have more extra perks, like minor upgrades from other races, such as speakers to stun his victims and others. Yeah, that would do just fine. So, they all kit up with their best upgrades and move on the offensive to the base. Just when the Skibidis are celebrating their win against the Alliance, all hell would rain down on them. Chaos would spring up from all directions. When Alpha decides to take a peek at whatever is going on, she'll see, in all his majesty, the king of the entire multiverse, raining attacks on the Skibidis. The scientist would realize that it's not worth it and find a way to retreat. But Alpha, still stubborn, decides to summon the Counter Titan and orders him to attack the Clock Titan. But he's just chilling, observing them. Just as the Counter is about to leap at him, he gets torn into pieces in an epic showdown. Yeah, my daddy would really run the show, showing off his new upgrades. Alpha realizes she has to report back to her master and tries to escape, but she's caught and, just like the counter, is torn into shreds. With the Clock Titan now back, the Alliance would be confident that they can take on almost any enemy. But then they find out about the G-Man apocalypse and they know they have to act fast. So, a massive mission is needed. With the Clock Titan, the Alliance would storm onto the Skibidi's base to stop the G-Man apocalypse. The Clock Titan would battle with numerous mutants and toilets that the Skibidis have put in place to slow them down. I guess when it comes to the Skibidi's plan to immobilize him, it would fail, because if it's successful, that would be the end. Another reason they did it was because they knew the other Titans would have his back. But now he knows that he's the only hope. The Time Dome would be a dumb move. Instead, he can use the black hole ability from his upgrades to suck them into another dimension. Yeah, how about that, scientist? So, with this, I don't see anything that would hold them down. I guess with a lot of effort, they'll be able to beat the timer and destroy the base before the G-Man even unleashes, as their plan to immobilize him has failed. But I guess the final boss would not be as easy, as it's the Sinister we're talking about, but we don't know yet how it would play out. But I guess they'll be able to reseal him back in place, as this guy is just too overpowered to put down. Yeah, so basically, the Clock Titan would be around to see the aliens, but I heard even the aliens are working on something to handle the Clock Titan. I just wonder what it is. It better be good, because my daddy is ever ready. Now for the TV Titan. Well, the TV didn't show up in most of the earlier episodes. Maybe bro went to get some milk. But we started seeing some glimpses of him before he went into battle with the Drill Titan. So, if only the TV existed, he'd have to come even earlier. Let's say to save the clock base from the mutants. We all know it wouldn't be easy to infect him, so the Skibidis would eventually give up. And since he has the hypnosis ray, I think it would be even easier to destroy toilets on a larger scale. They would eventually have to wear glasses to protect them against the TV, but this doesn't save them because they'll all get squished into mashed potatoes. I guess with this, there's no rescue mission, so the Alliance should be moving from base to base, destroying the toilets and mutants. Episodes 12 to 18 would be a breeze for the TV, as he clears all the episodes. However, in episode 19, he'll be ambushed by the scientist. This time, the scientist would even come with black glasses to protect him from the hypnosis ray, and he'd come with his friend, the Pennywise toilet, which would be put down in no time. As we all know, the amount of fighting skills the TV possesses with his energy sword allows him to cut and destroy the Pennywise toilet, coupled with his rays. So, with this, I guess the scientist would have to retreat out of the battlefield, as he won't stand a chance. However, he used the kamikaze as a distraction because the TV can literally absorb his teleportation smoke. So, while he's distracted by the kamikaze rain, the scientist would be able to scramble away. Seeing this, the TV would teleport back to the base, but he'll be met by the SCP toilets, which have taken over the base. The agents are fighting hard to stop them. He uses his red rays to instantly vaporize them, using his energy sword to cut and inflict damage, thereby saving the base. The TV basically didn't have a base form. However, he'll still get minor upgrades to help him in the battle against the ever-increasing threats. The agents would go over to the base where the nukes are located, and with the TV, it should be a one-way in, one-way out mission with little casualties. However, Alpha is plotting something with the Skibidis, and it would be an Alliance-wide raid on all the bases at once. So, the Alliance has only one Titan to help. The TV would have to make a choice: go after Alpha or help the agents. The agents would split up to their respective bases to hold off the Skibidis. When the TV gets to the base, he'll see the scientist and go on a full-on attack against him, which would turn out to be a one-sided battle, as the scientist would be bullied and have no other choice but to retreat, as he has other plans. Alpha, seeing that things have gone south, would go on to summon the Counter Titan. The TV Titan would have to fight head-on with this beast of a Titan, and any of the extra weapons that the TV uses would likely be duplicated and used against him. Even in the original, we saw how the Counter Titan was able to wear down the duo of the TV and camera, and he was hurt really badly. So, is that the end for the TV, right? Well, not quite. You see, the TV Titan has a rage mode, and as we've all seen, this amps up his abilities multiple times over. So, when he uses this mode, going all out on the Counter Titan using the burning rays on him, soon his durability is going to be weakened, giving the TV the upper hand. With his sword, he'll be able to cut the counter-titan into pieces. However, the spider would crawl out eventually, but as for fighting against the mutants at the base, all these battles would definitely wear out the TV Titan, and when he reaches the G-Man apocalypse, just one blast would take him out. Well, I guess G-Man is a force to be reckoned with in the Skibidi Multiverse, as he took down most of the Titans fighting solo. However, check out this video to see what would happen if the camera Titan got reinfected in episode 14. Unique Clockman out!